Hello, welcome to Handmade by Julia Quinn. It's my turn to come on to our fantastic global share fair this weekend, and this is my project I have to show you, featuring the Cheerful Daisies suite. I'm Julia Quinn. Sorry, I should introduce myself. From the Sunshine Coast in Australia, Queensland, Australia. And it's now my turn to share with you my project for our global share fair this weekend. Okay, I'm just trying to find the group so that I can make sure I'm on the right page and you can see what I can see. Excellent. So hello. All right. My card's actually quite simple, but it has a surprise on the inside. Ta-da! Has a lovely little vase of flowers there for you. So I also want to explain that when I was designing this card, I actually had intended to use some of this paper in the card, but so that dictated the choice of my colours. So the garden green, the crushed curry, and the pebbled path. But then when I actually came to make it, I didn't use it, but I just thought I'd show you that that's where my creative story came from. It actually started with this lovely paper that's part of the Fresh as a Daisy papers in the whole suite. All right, so show you the stamp set. I'm using Cheerful Daisies and the Cheerful Daisies dies. I've done all the die cutting ready to go, but I haven't done all the stamping. And then that's the Fresh as the Daisy paper that coordinates with it as well, but we're not using that today. Let's get my bits and pieces. And these are also the in colour glossy dots that I'm using for my project, and they've been very well used. So all right, let's start with the front. I've got a soft sea foam card base, and then my mat is garden green, and the same for the inside panel, but I just need these white pieces here to start my stamping for you. I've already done my die cutting. This large piece in the suite is really great to do lots of die cutting. Okay, let's pull over my stamping mat here and put on my piece for the front. And just to create, because this piece is so big and amazing, I just thought I didn't really want to take anything away, which is actually why I ended up not using the paper at all. And I just wanted something subtle in the background, and that's where the artistic mixed decorative masks really come in very, very handy. So I'm just going to pop that over the top there, and using a very, very subtle colour, soft sea foam, which is the same as my card base, just add some colour. Actually, I'm not very good with blending brushes. I tend to make splodges and funny old marks here and there, but I do find when I'm using a stencil or a mask, it really helps disperse the splodginess if I don't do a very good job. So I find that very forgiving. So that's my card front done, and now I just want to stamp my greeting on the bottom, which is wishing you the brightest birthday, which is always useful for every card you make. Oops, my stamp's not quite sticking on my block there. There we go. Wishing you the brightest birthday down the bottom. Easy peasy, that's done. Right, and now I'm going to, on my pure white die cut here, I'm going to actually stamp over the top of the die cutting to colour it in, to just finish it off very nicely. And all of the stamps actually work really nicely with it. So I've got my pebbled path dots for the inside of the flowers there. Okay, put them away, and then I'm finished with you, I believe. I'm going to use my crushed curry here for all of the flower bits and pieces. So this large flower, here, just sort of line that up there, and it fits perfectly on your die cut image. Doesn't that look fantastic? And then the next one, And you can, the daisies are good for lining up with the dies and the stamps because there is actually a flatter side on the daisy, so they're not totally symmetrical. It actually works really well when you're lining it up with the die cut elements and your dies themselves when you're cutting them out. Here you go. There's the second one, and then this little one here, the half a daisy. And then on the inside of my card, where's my inside piece? Just while I've got my crushed curry out, I'm just going to stamp this tiny little cluster of flowers a couple of times because I always like the inside of my card to be decorated, especially the panel where you do your writing. And then I'm going to add some green leaves, just a couple of little edges here for these ones. And there we go, that'll do for you. And with this leaf stamp, just once again stamping over the top of the die cut just to add some colour and depth. And actually I've stamped over the side there, so I'll add a little bit more. There we go. So that's my front feature complete. I think that's all my stamping complete too. Just before I put everything away, I'm going to use, for the inside of these little guys, going to use my Pebbled Path marker and colour in the centres of my flowers. There we go. And the bullet tip of my marker to add some, just add some little dots around. I just think it adds a bit more depth to your image, finishes off a bit more. There we go. So that's that bit done. I think that's all my stamping done now. Let's put together the front of our card first. I'll stick together my basic white on top of my garden green with a little border all the way around, and then the front of the card. And then all I have to do now is stick on my flowers. Now I'm not entirely sure, when I put this one on, I was going to put the leaves down here, which is why I put the greeting off to the side, and then once I stuck it on I thought it looked like it was upside down. So I'm going to go the opposite way this time, but to be honest I'm not really sure which way is up and which way is down. I think I was just basing it on this little one here. I might use mini glue, mini dimensionals for underneath this flower. Just a couple more here and there. There we are. And pull the backing off all of those. And pop you like that. There we go. And then some of these magical glossy dots. One there, and one there. Oh, I wonder if you're stuck. Yep, stuck. Should have put that one over a little bit further. Okay, so there's the front of the card done. Now we'll do the inside of the card with the fun little surprise inside. I'll just pop you inside over here, because on this side we've got the super fun little box of flowers. So for this box of flowers I actually have, on my card here I've used the timber embossing folder. Not sure whether you can see that detail there, the timber embossing folder. But this time on this one I've prepared for you, I'm actually using the exposed brick folder, which just arrived. It wasn't arrived when I first made my card. So this little strip here, it's the details for all of these cards are in a tutorial we're giving with the share fair this weekend, but I haven't put this bit in the tutorial. So this piece of Pebbled Path is 21 centimetres by 5 centimetres high, scored at 8, 10, 18 and 20. But if you're using inches, I think it's 2 inches by 8.5 inches, scored at 3 inches, 4 inches and then 7 and 8 inches. And when I put this, I actually made sure I bent or scored along all of the lines before I put it in the embossing folder. That's really important because it is hard to find your score lines after you emboss because it tends to squish everything out of it. But if you make sure you give them a good fold beforehand, and as I put this in the embossing folder, it's only embossed up to this section, but that's totally fine because you're going to stick this on to your card front. Okay, so I'm just going to add my seal here on my end tab. And as with anything that is folded, always, as much as possible, adhere it totally flat. Okay, so there's my little box. It folds both ways. And this bit are going to be glued in. So I'll put a seal on this one and then this one separately. And then I'm going to pop this down the bottom here. Line it up next to the score line. See, so it almost folds to the width of the card, and then close my card. And then I've got my box ready for my flowers. Now I've done all the stamping and die cutting for my flowers, and the way I put them in was to just trim little strips of garden green. No specific size. They're actually secondary to the whole creation of the card, but it allows your card to be put together. Okay, so I'm going to start with the biggest flower first, this nice big one, and it's going into the background. All right, so I usually use mini glue dots are the way to go for making a card like this. They just make it so simple and easy. So I'm going to pop a mini glue dot on the back of that, and then one there on my flower, and then I'm actually going to stick this flower onto the back of my card using Stamping Dimensional. So I'm not going to worry about the bottom of the stalk because it will sort of find its way in amongst all of the others. So there we go. There's my largest flower at the back. Now I will put, well, there's my leaves to stick on the other after I've finished. Oh, hang on, just forgot to put my little centers on these little guys. Just finish them off. There we go. Leaves aside. And then, if you have a look, I've got some on the front, some on the inside, and some on the back of my card. So it's about layering the whole card together. So I'll use this one on the front because I've die cut it a bit straighter. So I put that here so it looks like it's falling over the front of the card. And then this one, a bit of a mini glue dot just on the, look, you can see my stamping on the back. That didn't quite work out. And pop you here. All right, and then adding some more stalks. A stalk with a mini glue dot, and on the base of my daisy, and then a mini glue dot on the front of my stalk. I really love pop-up cards with fun interactive elements. There we go. Hence the fixation with pop-up cards. And this is a really easy way to add extra interest to your cards, I think. Okay, and then this one can go just behind there. I am going to add a couple extra daisies to the back of my card. I better add a stalk just in case. You can see it. There we go. There's one there. And another one here. Whoops. Oh, that's a dud. With a stalk on it. Another one over here. Oh, sorry. Didn't realise I was getting a bit carried away out of the camera there. And this one can go on a... Actually, what I do want to do with this one is just give you a little bit of a trim. on top. Okay, that's a bit better. And mini glue dot at the front of him. There we are. And I wonder if I should hang that one over the front too. I do have to be careful that I don't go over the side too much on the right hand side. So I do have to fix that one up, make you over there. And then this one just here. There we go. And then the last thing is to add on my leaves, again with the mini glue dots, quick and easy, and just stick them onto the actual flowers. Mini glue dot over there. Am I, yep, I'm all good. And a couple up there. And actually this one can go mini glued on the back of you. You can go behind the big daisy up here. And one left. So the number of leaves you use is entirely up to you. Actually, this one can go on the back wall. It's because it's going on the back wall, it can stick out the side. There you go. So, a very simple card, really. Hopefully you enjoyed that. A simple card with a surprise. Ta-da! And you can just write, "You deserve a basket of flowers. Here's some that will last ages for you." I hope you enjoyed that. And we have one more presentation for our Global Share Fair for this weekend. And if you haven't been able to see them all, make sure you go back and watch all the rewinds. It's been an amazing, amazing inspirational weekend. And thank you so much for joining me today. Bye-bye.